Hello survivors, welcome back to The Garage, the Waste's premier destination for know-it-alls. You're watching the most detailed and useful show for every true fan of Crossout. If you really want to make the laws of this brave new world, you better stick with us. It's time to buckle up and hit the gas. Yeeehaw! For the third review of Combat Zone, we picked the factory, and for a good reason. If you remember our two previous videos, you know that we covered the bridge and the old town maps. You see, the factory is a sort of a mix of these two maps in terms of both its landscape and tactics. First, let's talk about the map structure. The respawn points are located on two opposite edges of the map. They're separated by a pretty open area in the middle that has some roads and hills. The vast majority of the map is dominated by an abandoned factory with tightly packed buildings around it. Even before the Great Calamity, the factory used to make various dangerous chemicals and was no place for regular civvies. Now, after the catastrophe, it has no one to take care of it. Constant raids have turned the factory into a literal cauldron of toxic chemical waste and deadly viruses. That's why there's a huge puddle of acid in the middle of the map. All I can say about it is stay away from it. Should you take a dip in there, your ride will dissolve and fast. Stay clear off of it. Well, as for the rest of the map, the tactical solutions are many and varied. This arena can easily accommodate snipers, close-range fighter vehicles, heavily armored craft, machine gun rides, and even shotgun-toting vehicles. You can try pretty much any build here, and it will work, if it's good, that is. Thanks to the map's landscape, you can capitalize on pretty much any weaponry in one way or another. A couple of rides can flank around the hills to capture the enemy base. Sharpshooter craft can take the high ground and methodically destroy their opposition below, and on the enemy hills too. Accurate fire can be used to lure or drive the enemy into those small pockets in between the hills, where invisible rides can ambush the foe with augers or explosive spears. Machine gun rides can fight it out amongst the factory buildings, pushing their foes towards the walls and into tight corners, just like in the old town. By the way, here you can use some heavy tanks with thick dozer blades that can quite literally push the enemy into the puddle of deadly acidic sludge. The best thing about this map is probably the fact that you can do it all within a single match. That's why no battle on the factory is the same. They're always full of action and surprises. You can act in unison with your team or go crazy with different craft and do your own thing, turning the map into a cauldron of chaos. Please note that in PvP mode, this map becomes available later. Rookie players must first earn their colors. So don't worry if you don't see this map on your matchmaker early in the game. Humanity is going nuts with those fidget spinners. This little toy is made to relieve stress and help with attention disorders, but it got popular mostly among teens. The world of Crossout just barely survived the apocalypse, but it's trendy. You see, a regular spinner would not serve much purpose in the game since it's kinda too post-apocalyptic outside, yeah? But a ride that also a fidget spinner that is armed, now that sounds fun. But is it doable? Let's find out. Before we can achieve true spinner success, we need to solve two engineering dilemmas. First, the game has no moving spacer parts. Secondly, all modules must be placed within a grid. So how do we fix all that? A classic fidget spinner has three ends, which is the shape we will build as well. A couple of light frames can be used for a base of the ride. Every transport needs a cabin. So we'll mount a duster cabin that weighs 280 kilos. Don't forget that the spinner must, spin. Every extra kilo will hinder the spinning ability. Okay, let's mount some wheels into those ends, but we can mount them at the right angle to each other, right? Thankfully, we can put 4 powerful turbines to give us the spinning momentum we need. These can be mounted on one of each axis, behind the cabin or next to the generator. Does it spin? Oh yeah, it does. How do you arm this ride? Let us use the main advantage it has, the spinning. Grab a couple of contact mines, 2 for each axis will do. Now all you need to do is come up to the victim, activate the turbine, and hit the foe as hard as you can. But alas, after a couple of attacks, the spinner ride will become weaponless. That's why you better install a couple of wicked-looking blades or a chainsaw. Perhaps a light engine to keep the speed as high as possible while not consuming any extra energy. You can't call this ride truly effective, but we did build a spinner. Look, it spins! Maybe you can make it spin even faster by mounting extra turbines, who knows? The waste might be mostly dead and devastated after the Great Catastrophe, but there's still life abound. There are no proper nations or even cities, but survivors tend to gather up in groups, forming factions. There are several major factions in Crossout, the first of which is called the Engineers. It would be wrong to start with anyone else since they're the gracious hosts of the garage. The head of the faction goes by the name of Ivy XO. She was born after the calamity to the family of an auto mechanic that soon became a leader of a small settlement. Her mother was killed by the raiders while she was still young, and her father was away helping some other settlements in the wastes. After that fateful day, her father has changed. He began hoarding technologies and warriors in order to one day fix the world. From that day onward, he calls himself the Mentor. Ivy was brought up as a true little princess she is, but she hated staying in her safe but restrictive environment. She often ventured out from her home and explored the settlement. She watched the life of the camp and its ever-growing army, absorbing any and all information on a fly. Everybody in the settlement liked the girl for her fast wit, kind heart, and hands with a knack for all things mechanical. After her father perished in a major battle with raiders, Ivy became the new leader of the Engineers. Under her lead, what was once an army of fanatics turned into a force of inventors and traders. They're not the largest faction in the Wastes, but they have outposts pretty much everywhere. Every new player of Crossout starts as a part of the Engineers faction by default. The Engineers are friendly and love helping others, and the reason behind this attitude is purely humanitarian. When you will be ready to make out your first venture into the Wastes, it will be the Engineers who will offer you your first ride blueprints, and for free. You can even craft simple parts using their basic workbench, absolutely for free as well. But their auto fabricator is a whole different deal. Here, the Engineers build the finest marvels of post-apocalyptic battle technology. The Porcupine Mine Layer, the Scorpion Pulse Cannon, and the Firefly Flamethrower. The latter contraption looks as if it was made by the Lunatics, an altogether different and wilder faction of Crossout. But I guess even amongst the friendly Engineers, there are some crazy fellas too, huh? The rides of the Engineers are usually simple but easy to control. They build the true workhorses of the Wastes. The primary cabins are called Huntsman and Docker. The first cabin has a flat hood that works great for mounting machine guns. The Docker is a cabin from Russia. Surprisingly, these cheap trucks can instill fear into passengers, pedestrians, and other drivers even beyond the apocalypse. This cabin works well to protect all the modules mounted behind it, while its decent mass limit is a great asset when building an armored vehicle. The Engineers recommend several builds with their cabins above all else. The Huntsman can be used to make a craft balance for simplicity and effectiveness. Mount 2 or 3 machine guns on the top. Throw all other useful stuff in the back, such as a jack, fuel drums, or an engine. The Docker can also be used as a mount for the Avenger. Such build is tough, but not very agile, to say the least. The rides made by Engineers got no serious pros, no cons. They are the golden average in all respects. They're not too fast, nor they are too fragile. The armor is moderate, but the speed is decent too. It's a compromise, yes, but when you're low on resources and parts, these rides will work just fine. The blueprints and parts of the Engineers are best for early level gameplay. Remember though, no faction wants any kind of long-term commitment. When you reach player level 10, you will most likely wish to try your luck as a part of a different faction. But this is a story for future episodes. Okay, fellas, it's time to look into our mailbox and answer some of your questions. Can fuel tanks and ammo packs increase my self-destruct damage? Yeah, Explosive elements can increase the self-destruct damage indeed. Will I be able to transfer my data from Gaijin account to Steam account? Yeah, as soon as the game becomes available on Steam, all players will be able to link their Gaijin accounts with Steam accounts. How can a clan leader start a clan battle? Clan Wars become available for players only with Crossout Update 0.7.20. Well, that's about it for this one. I'll see you all in the week to unravel even more secrets of the wastes. Don't waste your time out there, okay? Get out there, earn some XP, become a better warrior, and all that good stuff. While you're at it, go and tell your friends about our show, and don't forget to leave your comments below the video. Some things are better done with a team, so find yourself one. Be seeing ya!